everybody, and welcome back to the HabWrap. I am your host, Harry Rice. You are listening to the friendliest and funniest source for anything and everything related to the Montreal Canadiens. Tonight, probably last night by the time you're hearing this, but regardless, Game 4 of the first round was played between the Canadiens and the Lightning. Of course, it's in Montreal, the second of, potentially 3 games that'll be played in Montreal in the series. And if there was one word to describe this game, and I really don't care about spoiling, because I'm sure you guys know the result by the time you're watching this, the one word that I would use to describe this game would be disappointing, because the Canadiens had the kill in sight and then bucked on the last shot. They were so close to pulling the trigger, and then the deer just moved out of the way. That is probably the best comparison. That's probably the best way to describe it. It started off very well, and then unfortunately didn't end that great for the Canadiens. So of course we are gonna talk about it. So the lines. Let's just get right into them. I'm sure you guys have good stuff to do. So do I, believe me. I got Euphoria to watch, which, well, I said I have good things to do and then said Euphoria, which is kind of an oxymoron, but whatever, you get what I mean. The opening lines for the Canadiens are Caufield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky, Anderson, Deneau, Evans, Newhook, Kapanen, Demidov, and Bolduc, Doc, Texier, Matheson, Carrier, Gooley, Hudson, and Struble, Jack are on the blue line. Jakub Dobesh gets the start net for the Habs, and Jacob Fowler continues to back him up. The opening lines for the Lightning were Hagel, Point, Kucherov, Gord, Cirelli, Gensel, Bjorkstrand, James, Goncalves, and Perry, Gergensons, Paul. So they continue to be cowards and officially really break up the Gee line that we really wanted, or at least I did. On the blue line, it's Moser, Radish, McDonough, Chernak, and Lilleberg, Crozier. Andre Vasilevsky obviously gets the start net for Tampa, and Jonas Johansson continues to back him up as he's been doing past, 3 seasons now? He's been their backup? 2 seasons at least, I'm pretty sure. Before the game, Sabrin, he is out because Oliver Bjorkstrand returns from his injury. He slots in, as I mentioned. Desto is still injured, so that's how Max Crozier gets into the lineup. And more importantly, the Canadiens will find out more about Dobson in 2 days. Technically, again, probably 1 day. The day of Game 5, I believe it is, that they will find out. The day before Game 5, actually, they will find out more about Noah Dobson. And for Canadiens fans, we can only hope that it's good news and he is able to come back for Game 5, because we probably could use him a little bit at least. So yeah, let's get into it. First period, before the first period, again, we have about a half page of notes on the phone, not like a legitimate half page. Just wanted to clarify for those who might be thinking, oh my god, Harry, how? But no, half phone page of notes from before the game. Serge Savard had the torch this time. That was awesome. The Bell Center crowd early in the pregame, a little less loud than last game, but the crowd outside was massive. And understandably so. It's Montreal. It's the hockey mecca of the world. And you're going to have huge crowds of fans outside the Bell Center. Would love to get down there at some time. Don't know if I realistically could, but it would be awesome. And then this is where we get Ole chants before the anthems, and the crowd had woken right up to deliver the Oles. They were about as loud as from the Guy Lafleur tribute after he passed away. Chills from how everyone in the Bell Center sings the Canadian national anthem, along with Brittany Kemmel, who very good anthem singer. I really like the way she does the Canadian anthem. Anderson has a good hit on Chernak on the first shift. Good energy to start the game. There's a puck that ends up in the Habs bench. Bolduc tries to find Texier, but just can't. The top line finally get out there. 3 minutes into the game was their first shift. They mentioned on the broadcast, and very smart, something that I'm going to mention now, and not take credit for, because I'm a good little podcaster. But the broadcast mentioned how Cooper was starting the Cirelli line, which has been the line that's been mirroring the Nick Suzuki line all series. And so they were starting the Cirelli line, and obviously because we're in Montreal, Habs have the last change. And they put out the fourth line instead. 5 seconds in, there was a stoppage, or when there was the stoppage for the puck in the Habs bench. Cooper threw out the Cirelli line again, thinking Canadians were going to put the Suzuki line out, and they threw out the third line, and so they lose the face off, everybody jumps off. They were really trying to save that Cirelli line for when Suzuki's line came out, and kind of got the Lightning out of rhythm as a result, did Marty, and I like that counter attacking. Just with that, just changing up the lineup, who goes out when. I did like that. But Suzuki gets on a break, but Zvasi makes the save. And the Habs get called for too many men at 2 minutes. Damn it. Gensel gets set up on a one-timer, but that's wide. Habs pin it against the boards to kill some time. Radish has a shot saved and held by the pads of Dobesh. There's some good defense on a Kucherov look. Habs get the clear. Canadians 1-for-1 on the penalty kill tonight early. The Lightning push. Habs with some good body checks. They are not giving the Lightning much at all. Great D play. Dobesh is way out to try and make a save. Habs keep that one from getting in the net. Caufield in a 2-on-1. The shot is into the chest. Sorry. Whew. The shot is into the chest of Vasilevsky. But just fire them. He'll get one soon enough. You never know when. Doc has a good pass block as he tries to get a rush going, but just not able to. Anderson with speed can't find anything towards the net. But the Habs go to a power play at 8 minutes. Deneau eats a cross-check from Max Crozier, and that gets called. Habs with some pressure. There's a slap chance saved. On a rebound, Demidov has a wrister saved. Demidov with a nice spinorama. The shot almost goes in, but Vasi is holding the fort down for the Lightning early in the game. Second unit comes out. Bolduc has a big hit on Gergensons. I say the Habs clear, but I meant the Lightning clear moments later. And we'll get 12 seconds of 5-on-3. Matheson gets tripped by Gord. That's pretty obvious. Caufield has a one-timer wide and out. That ends the 5-on-3. There's some good pressure. Habs are moving the puck around. Caufield with another look, but that gets saved with Suzuki right in front of the net. Hudson's very solid at finding the open man in this series. He has not looked like he has been overwhelmed whatsoever by the playoffs or by the Lightning in general, especially very much could get dirty, try to elbow him, try to slew foot him. The Lightning playing their typical game, which surprisingly they've not played that overly dirty style that Tampa has. So Hudson probably very happy about that as well. The second unit comes out. Texier has a shot off Vasi's mask. There's some good rotation. Bolduc has a shot saved. Matheson goes in on his own, but the shot is held by Vasilevsky. Habs are 0-for-2 on the power play. Anderson has a shot just off a stick and out. Moments later, Kapanen has a shot off the shoulder. Habs do have the momentum, but the Habs will end up placing a puck with 7:28 left. Hagel finds Mosier, but the shot is held. Kucherov has a backhander held moments later. And the Lightning have turned momentum just like that. Dobesh, though, standing pretty tall early in the game. 2 great saves as Hagel looks for point. Fantastic blue line. They keep a puck out of the net there after a good Dobesh save. Shout out to the Canadiens. Blue line. Matheson then barely avoids getting called for icing as McDonough had come onto the ice and could have played the puck. Habs get lucky there. Habs try to find something. The D is settling in for the Lightning. Matheson ends up hitting a skate on a wrist shot, so he does that now too. We'll talk about Matheson more later on. Kapanen has good speed in the zone. Hudson looks for a shot, but he hits a man in front. Shots are 10-6 for the Canadiens. We're still scoreless after the first period. In the second period, Deneau has a slapper saved. Andy ends up poking. The Lightning want him for a moment. And then Andy goes to the box for 2. He gets called for a board on Ryan McDonough. Stupid penalty to take. Andy ends up taking the worst of that. He would come back a few minutes later. But, yeah, that was interesting. The Lightning, I said the Lightning come out themselves. They come out of the zone themselves. Clarification might be good for some of these notes. Kucherov and Hagel connect, but the shot is saved. Lightning accidentally clear, and then the Habs do as the Lightning look for a zone entry. Habs are 2 for 2 on the penalty kill. Kucherov and Struble exchange cross-checks on a battle in the corner. Hagel then looks to have headbutted Struble after the stoppage in play. So yeah, Lightning then press. There's a couple saves for Dobesh once again. Habs are able to counter, but just can't get any shots early. Gooley with a good hit on a man at neutral. The Habs were pretty physical so far. They weren't going to let the Lightning push them around, and the Lightning were going to let the Canadiens push them around. So yeah, at the half, the shots are just 3-1 for the Lightning. So yeah, not a ton of chances at all. Both teams very conservative, very settled in. Quite frankly, they looked ready for overtime already. They looked like they were both comfortable going to overtime, tied scoreless halfway through the game. The Habs can't enter a zone. Lightning can, but the Habs would get them out quickly. And then, of course, because I said the game is scoreless, we score 6 seconds after the actual half of the period. Zach Bolduc, after a Lightning save, he gets sent on a break the other way. He holds off Darren Radish, and it's in the net. Zach Bolduc, first time I've ever seen a deflected shot after the man takes the shot and he deflects it himself. Zach Bolduc, with his first in the playoffs as a Canadian, hell yeah. The Canadiens have the lead. He scores from Gooley and Texier. 9:54 left in the second period. That could switch momentum for the Canadiens. Spoiler, it would for a while. Newhook gets called for a hook immediately after the power play. That sucks. I think it's literally like 23 seconds after the Bolduc goal, the Habs get called. Lightning do push. Habs get a clear. They nearly find Suzuki on a break. Kucherov has a shot blocked. The Habs get a clear. Gensel comes in. A shot hits the crossbar. Lightning press after a clear. Turns into a... Sorry, yeah. My God. The Lightning push after a clear turns into a face-off back in the Habs zone. Habs are 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. And then the Canadiens go to a power play. So Jake Gensel has the brain of Brady Tkachuk because Dobesh makes a save. He holds the puck. Gensel just gives him a slash late. Everybody goes after him. Dobesh even almost went to the scrum and wanted a piece of him himself. But either way, the Habs do go to a power play at about 6 minutes into the... with 6 minutes left. The Habs do press. There's a pass to Slafkovsky, but it's not there. The Habs enter the zone. There's another chance. They whack away at it, but they just can't get it. Habs off some board play. They get it. Suzuki just centers it, and the Canadiens score. They take the 2-0 lead. Goal Caufield, Mr. 50 in the regular season. He's got his first in the playoffs this year. Right in front, just pushes it home. Caufield scores from Suzuki and Hudson. So all three of those guys on the goal with their 4th points in the playoffs. Hell to the yeah. Habs are 1 for 3 on the power play. And then after the stoppage in the next shift, here we go. Jack-Eye and Paul grabbing at each other. Doc and Gergensons are tied up. They're going at it. It's a full scrum, the first one of the game, and it took more than halfway through the game to get it. The game started to get very chippy at this point, and it's after this that the refs really begin to favor Tampa Bay, and it's very unfortunate. Struble also takes down Perry. Good shit. Perry ends up getting busted open. The Ole chants are incredibly loud at this stage. What are the penalties? Well, it's Jack-Eye and Doc for the Canadiens, and Paul and Gergensons for the Lightning. All of them get 2 for roughing, and we stay 5-on-5. And then the Habs get a power play right on the next shift. Darren Radish is called for a delay of game for puck over glass. That comes with 6:02 left, so I believe the penalty was 8 minutes left, the last one we scored on. What do we score on this one? We'll find out. Habs do get a cycle. There's a Hudson slapper saved after a slap chance gets stopped. Gensel comes in shorthanded, but a great stick by Newhook to break that up. Habs are 1 for 4 on the power play tonight at this stage. Lightning press, Kucherov is starting to get booed again. Dobech has a hold there. And then on a suicide pass to Juraj Slafkovsky, Max Crozier gives him a clear headshot, jumps into the hit as well. And Slav was slow to get up. He would end up missing the rest of the period. I put it in my notes, but I'll say it here. Would come back for the third, thankfully. So just got the wind knocked out of him. And thankfully Slav seemed to be okay. And is there a penalty there? Well, no, why would there be? It's a clean headshot, you know? Why would there be a penalty? Doc, as he comes on for Slafkovsky, immediately slashes Crozier in the back of the leg. You love to see it. Should have aimed for the head, though. And the Habs go to a penalty kill. Why? Because Matheson also slashes a man behind the play. Behind the net, I should say. Matheson, you are a fucking plight on the Canadiens. We'll talk more about him in a little while. The Habs get to clear off a shot, and we get a power play late in the original one, technically. Hagel gets called for a slash. That'll negate the Tampa power play. We get a minute and a half of 4-on-4 and a late Canadiens power play. But that one will hold into the start of the third. So the Habs are 4 for 4 on the penalty kill, and then Gensel scores on the 4-on-4. Struble with no defense on the play. I don't know what. I have no clue. Like, Struble is sticking with Gensel from around the net as he cuts down the slot, and Struble, instead of trying to play the puck or play the body, just lets Gensel get in front of him, and Gensel, I would say an easy tap in, but it's lifts it, puts it in the back of the net, and all of a sudden, it's 2-1 with 54 seconds left. That sucks. That's really all there is to say about that goal. Just lazy defense by Struble. The Lightning push again. You don't follow a guy out from around the net. You don't do that. It only leads to bad things. The Lightning press. Gensel runs Dobech after a Crozier shot gets saved, and the Habs escape the period up 2-1. Jesus. So again, the Canadiens up 2-1 after the second period. The shots are 16-14 for Tampa Bay. Will the Canadiens be able to survive the 20 minutes? No, but let's find out how. For the third, this is where I mentioned Slav was back out to start. Lightning clear. Habs can't get anything. Demidov has a shot blocked. Habs 1 for, I believe it's 5 now on the power play. Yes, the Habs are 1 for 5 on the power play. And then they go to the penalty kill because Oliver Kapanen gets called for a very phantom high stick. Clearly does not get into the face of the Lightning player. The Lightning are gifted a free power play, and of course, they score on it. Brendan Hagel tips home a Kucherov shot as Carrier loses his man. Also, Mike Matheson just being a complete moron, trying to play the forward that's in the slot, getting too aggressive in the circle. Yeah, you could argue that actually the goal probably isn't even on Carey. It's on Matheson. He's in that slot. He does nothing to block the pass across. Carrier doesn't stick with his man that well, but Matheson's also got to try something there. He cannot watch that goddamn puck float across to Brendan Hagel. So it's on both guys. Matheson and Carrier both sucked on that play. Will Mike Matheson get punished for it? Probably not. Why would he? You know, he only has 1 assist in 4 games as an offensive defenseman. Why would he get punished for playing horrible? You know, that's Arbor Jackey's job. He gets punished for all Matheson's mistakes. Whatever. So, yeah, the Canadiens are now 4 for 5 on the penalty kill tonight. So, despite the penalties they're taking, up to this point, they'd been pretty good on the penalty kill. Anderson almost gets found on a break, but it gets picked off. Kucherov has a shot wide of the net. Hagel, I should say, scores from Kucherov and Gensel, by the way, to tie the game up a minute 40 in. Kucherov has a shot wide of the net. Both teams are very cautious at this point. They would be for a majority of the period. They seemed just fine going to overtime once again. The top line press, Goulias a slapper saved. Caufield can't get a one-timer off. Carrier has a shot wide looking for a tip, and Matheson also has a shot go wide. Lightning ice a puck at 8 minutes. There's a missed too many men on Tampa shortly after. What a shocker. Also a missed high stick. Both teams holding it down defensively. And then the Canadiens go to the penalty kill. Mike Matheson with a clear as day high stick. And we have this fucking guy for 6 more seasons. Mike Matheson has done nothing this series but hurt the Canadiens. It is insane. We thought this guy is a top 4 defenseman in the NHL. Just a stupid penalty to take. It's incredibly lazy. The Habs do clear early. Evans strips Kucherov. He tries to find a new hook shorthanded. Evans gives a cross-check to Kucherov, who then dives into the boards, and the Habs go to a 5-on-3 penalty kill. That is right. Kucherov goes down so easy, and Evans gets called. So the officials don't look at Nikita Kucherov trying to sell as if his head hit the boards and give him a fucking embellishment. This is what happens every fucking year in the playoffs. Every time Tampa's made it with Kucherov on their roster, they will always buy that he's hurt and never give him an embellishment. Does it surprise you that Kucherov was right out for the power play immediately? No concussion protocol. No, hey, you gotta get off the ice because you're hurt. He just plays the next shift, no problem. Nikita Kucherov is worse than Mike Ribeiro in terms of selling. Because Ribeiro can at least make it look believable that he was having a heart attack on the ice. Nikita Kucherov, I wish, would have a heart attack on the ice. If we could have what happened to John Tavares against Montreal happen to Nikita Kucherov, except his fucking head comes off, I'd be very appreciative of that. The refs do call a major. It's only told to us right before it's confirmed that it's just 2 for cross-checking, so it's a 5-on-3 for a minute 08. The fans are booing Kucherov like crazy every time he touches the puck. Dobesh covers on a Paul chance. There's some board play. Suzuki clears late, and another clear, a great shift for Caden Gooley. He has been very damn good in this series so far. It's a shame he only has 1 assist, because I think he's played much better than that. The Canadiens are 6 for 7 on the penalty kill tonight. Gooley has a big hit on James, speaking of Gooley, after a chance is saved. And Hagel scores with 4:53 to make it 3-2. He deflects another Kucherov shot in. He scores from, again, Kucherov and Mosier. So Kucherov, who is allowed to play despite being quote-unquote hurt, generates the eventual game winner. Don't you love the NHL officiating? Yeah, listen, I love Wes McCauley, and he was not part of the problem tonight. But just to let you guys know, the other officials tonight were Brendan Blandina, CJ Murray, and Johnny Murray. Don't know what you guys plan on doing with that, but I mean, hey, I'm not negligible for anything. Evans gets tripped up. There's no call. Evans has a hit on Gooley, I believe it was, at center ice. There's no call as Gooley didn't have the puck. Deneau then plants Hagel's head into the ground. Unfortunately, he was wearing a helmet. And the Canadiens, surprisingly, get a power play with 2:33 left. Kucherov is called for a high stick. It is now or never for the Montreal Canadiens. Demidov has a shot off a body. It comes out. Suzuki off a draw from Hudson across. Can't find Slav or Cole. Canadiens are getting 0 puck luck. Dobesh gets pulled as the Habs cycle with a minute left. Suzuki has a shot held as Slav just not screening Vasi. He was able to see that a little bit. Marty calls the timeout with 1:23 left. Habs can't score. They look for something. They're 1-for-6 on the power play. Habs do press. Hagel tries to get one on the empty net, but he misses high because why wouldn't he? He's only good right in front of the net. Habs do try to press in the dying seconds. The puck comes out. No go. And the Montreal Canadiens are cost get cost another game by the referees. So the final score is the 3-2 for the Lightning in regulation. So the first game in the series that does end in regulation. The shots end up 20-18 for the Lightning as well. So the Canadiens finished the game strong with a final 3, but a combined 8 shots and 2 of them go in. And approximately 0 goals can be blamed on Jakub Dobeš. We were due for one of these games. The Lightning were due for one of these games where they get extremely lucky and are able to win. It just sucks that it happened now, and that game wasn't game 2. Because you look at it, realistically, the Canadiens should have completed the sweep tonight. Game 2, the referees cost the Canadiens big time. Game 3, they almost cost the Canadiens, but we were able to pull that one out of our ass and actually end up getting the win. And this game, they cost us huge. The phantom high stick on Oliver Kapanen, calling that one was moronic in my opinion. The hook on Newhook on McDonough, a little bit iffy in my opinion. Even calling the Matheson slash on Braden Point, that was a little dubious. And the Evans cross-check, if you're giving Evans a 2-minute, you got to give Kucherov a 2 for embellishment. Especially considering, again, no concussion protocol when it clearly he's trying to sell his head hitting the boards, which is unfortunate it didn't. He's, in general, just selling the call in general. And he's also back on the ice for the very next shift for the start of the 5-on-3 after acting like he just fucking died on the ice. I want the Canadiens for their next game to call up Florian Xhekaj because he's in the organization. He can play. I would really like for the Canadiens to call up Florian Xhekaj so that next game, the first shift Kucherov is on, Florian can run at him from across the ice and jump right into his goddamn head and see how Kucherov flops on that one, Or better yet, because he's not an enforcer, let Joshua Waugh do that. Call up Joshua Waugh, have him take a run at Kucherov, see how much Kucherov sells it. All right? And then while he's down, just fucking take the butt end of your stick and jam it right into his fucking jaw. All right. So the Canadiens unfortunately lose this one. Should have completed the sweep. However, the playoffs aren't always easy. We're definitely not Colorado, I'll tell you that much. But then again, Colorado hasn't looked like Colorado for the second half of the year so far, at least. But yeah, the Canadiens should be completing the sweep. However, we are unfortunately headed back to Tampa Bay for another game. We just got to win one. That's all we got to do. Just got to win one more in Tampa Bay. And then bang. Win in Montreal in Game 6. Send the fans home happy. And you're facing Buffalo in the second round because no way Bruins are coming back down 3-1. I'm very happy to be wrong about that prediction at the very least. So yeah, let's get into the stats for the Canadiens and then work our way on out of here. So, who leads the Canadiens in points? Lane Hudson. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists for 4 points. Caufield, a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. Nick Suzuki's got 4 assists. Yuri Slafkovsky still with just the 3 goals. Zach Bolduc and Alex Texier each with a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Josh Anderson with 2 goals. Kirby Dach with a goal and an assist. And Alex Carrier, Mike Matheson, Ivan Demidov, Phil Deneau, Jake Evans, Arbor Xhekaj, and Caden Gooley all with an assist this year. And Yuri Slafkovsky leads the Canadiens with a single fight. Jakub Dobeš has a 2-1-1 record, a 2.60 goals against average, and an 883 save percentage. I know you can't blame him for any of the goals tonight, but at what point do you try Fowler? What point are you trying Fowler in net? Dobeš has been phenomenal, but just, my God, that save percentage, so weak. One of the goalies where you cannot look at a save percentage and judge the whole story. Dobeš has played fantastic, but God, it sucks how few shots Tampa's taking, because he realistically should have a 920. He's playing like a 920 goalie this playoffs. So yeah, that is going to do it for this episode of the HabWrap. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit the follow button if you're on Spotify. I probably shouldn't be saying that, considering, again, next season we're not going to be on Spotify or Amazon Music or anything like that, but more than likely, at least. But yeah, regardless, again, that is going to do it for this episode of the HabWrap. Also, please do not forget to share with anybody who you think might enjoy it, the podcast, such as a fellow Montreal Canadiens fan, a hockey fan who's maybe looking for a Canadiens podcast, or someone who you think might enjoy just listening to some fat kid from Quebec talk about the Montreal Canadiens for half an hour after every game. Again, that is going to do it for this episode of the HabWrap. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Harry Rice. I am out, and always remember, no matter how good we were last year, how pretty good we are like this year, or how fantastic we will be in the future, go Habs go, Allez Montreal, and say with me, everybody, c'est la boo!